These shoes were found in the mud, small, child-sized, still tied, and they never made it home. They sit behind glass now. Museum light falls across the worn leather. The laces are still knotted the way a parent ties them. Tight, secure, the way you tie shoes when you want them to stay on all day. The leather is cracked, stained. The color has faded to something between brown and gray. The soles are thin, worn down in places where small feet pressed again and again. Walking, running, playing, these were not special shoes. Not expensive, not new, they were ordinary. The kind of shoes a child wears every day, to school, to play, through puddles and across fields and down dirt roads, but they never made it home. The shoes were found in 1945, in Poland, near a place that no longer has the name it had then. They were found in the mud outside a building, just one pair among thousands, piled, scattered, abandoned in haste. Someone picked them up. Someone noticed they were still tied. Someone understood. Think about tying a child's shoes, the way you kneel down, the way the child stands still or doesn't, the way you loop the laces. Once, twice, pull them tight, make a bow. You do it because you love them, because you want their shoes to stay on, because a loose shoe means stopping, tripping, discomfort. You tie their shoes because you're preparing them for the day ahead. But what if there was no day ahead? What if the moment you finished tying those laces was the last normal moment that child would ever know? The shoes belonged to someone, a child. We don't know the name, we don't know the age, we don't know if it was a boy or a girl, we don't know what color their hair was, what their voice sounded like, what made them laugh. We don't know if they had siblings, if they had a favorite toy, if they were afraid of the dark, or if they loved to run. All we know is they wore these shoes, and someone tied them, and they never came home. Let me tell you where these shoes were found. Not the place, not yet, but the context. The war was ending, but for millions of people, the ending came too late. There were places across Europe where people were taken, forced from their homes, crowded into trains, transported to locations they didn't choose, locations they couldn't leave, places with gates, with fences, with guards, places where shoes piled up. When people arrived at these places, they were told to remove their belongings, their coats, their bags, their shoes. They were told it was temporary, for processing, for organization, for hygiene. They were told they would get everything back. They removed their shoes. They placed them in piles, thousands of shoes, tens of thousands, mountains of leather and laces and lost steps, and they never got them back. These shoes, the small ones with the tied laces, were found in one of those piles at Auschwitz. Let that name settle, Auschwitz, a place where over 1 million people were murdered. Men, women, children, families, a place where trains arrived daily, where people were separated on a platform, where a gesture, a pointed finger, decided who lived a little longer and who died within hours. Children almost always went one direction, the direction that led to gas chambers disguised as showers. They were told to undress, to leave their belongings, to remember where they placed their shoes so they could find them after. They removed their shoes, these shoes, and they walked barefoot into rooms that locked behind them. The child who wore these shoes arrived at Auschwitz on a train. We don't know which train. We don't know which day. There were so many trains, so many days, but we know the journey, we know what it was like, packed into cattle cars. Dozens of people in a space meant for animals. No windows, no toilets, no water, no air. The journey took hours, sometimes days. People stood because there was no room to sit. Children cried. Adults tried to comfort them with lies. We're almost there. It will be okay. We'll be together. When the train stopped, the doors opened. Light flooded in. Voices shouted. Dogs barked. Guards yelled orders in a language many didn't understand. Get out, move, quickly. Leave your bags, they'll be brought to you later. People stumbled onto the platform, disoriented, terrified, hoping this was a work camp, hoping they would survive. A child stepped onto that platform wearing these shoes, holding a hand maybe, a mother's hand, a father's, a sibling's, standing close, trying to stay together, trying to understand. There was a selection process. An SS officer stood on the platform. Calm, unhurried, he looked at each person, a glance, a gesture, left or right. Left meant work, temporary survival, weeks, maybe months. Right meant immediate death, though no one was told that. Children almost always went right. They couldn't work. They were useless to the camp economy, so they were sent directly to the gas chambers. The child wearing these shoes went right. They were walked to a building, told to undress, told to remember where they left their clothes. Hooks lined the walls. Numbers marked each spot. The illusion of order, the promise of return. Adults undressed quickly, modestly, trying to shield children from the strangeness of it all, trying to maintain dignity. Children asked questions. Why are we taking off our clothes? Where are we going? When can we go home? The answers were lies. We're taking a shower. We'll get clean clothes. Soon, very soon. The child removed these shoes, set them down, the laces still tied, and walked into the next room. The room was large, cold concrete. Shower heads lined the ceiling. Pipes ran along the walls. People crowded in, hundreds at once. Packed tight, the doors closed. Locked, they waited for water. It wasn't water. Zyklon be a pesticide, pellets that released hydrogen cyanide gas when exposed to air. The pellets were dropped through vents in the ceiling. It took minutes, somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. At first, there was confusion, a strange smell, a burning sensation in the throat, then panic. People realized, they screamed, they pounded on the doors. They tried to climb, to reach air that wasn't there. Children were at the bottom, crushed, suffocated, poisoned. It took minutes for everyone to die, then the doors opened. Other prisoners, forced into this work, dragged the bodies out, loaded them onto carts, transported them to crematoria where they were burned. The ashes were scattered, in ponds, in fields, across the camp grounds. Nothing left but ash and shoes. The child who wore these shoes died that day. We don't know how long it took. We don't know if they understood. We don't know if they called for someone. We don't know their last thought, their last breath, their last moment. All we know is they died, and their shoes remained. After the war, when the camps were liberated, soldiers found the evidence. Rooms filled with belongings, hair, glasses, suitcases with names written on them, and shoes, massive piles of shoes, adult shoes, children's shoes. Shoes that told the story of who had been here, who had walked into this place and never walked out. Some shoes were taken as evidence, for trials, for documentation, for memory. These shoes, the small ones with the tied laces, were preserved, kept, placed in a museum, because they tell a story that numbers cannot. Over 1 million people were killed at Auschwitz. 1 million, that number is incomprehensible. The mind cannot hold it. it becomes abstract, a statistic, history. But these shoes are real. You can see them. You can imagine a child's foot inside them. You can picture a parent kneeling down, tying the laces, smoothing the leather, telling their child to have a good day. You can imagine that child walking, running, playing, living an ordinary life in an ordinary world until the world stopped being ordinary. One child, one pair of shoes, one story that will never be fully known. That's harder to forget. There are museums now, places where the evidence is kept, where people come to see what happened, to understand, to remember. Auschwitz is one of those places. It's been preserved. The barracks, the fences, the gas chambers, the crematoria, and the belongings, rooms filled with the things people brought, suitcases still packed, eyeglasses in piles, hairbrushes, prayer shawls, children's toys and shoes, so many shoes displayed behind glass, thousands of them, a sea of leather and loss. These small shoes are somewhere in that collection, still tied, still worn, still holding the shape of a child's foot. People walk through the museum in silence. The weight of it presses down, the scale of it, the deliberateness of it. This wasn't war, this was murder. Systematic, industrial, efficient. People were transported here for the sole purpose of being killed, not because they were soldiers, not because they fought back, because of who they were, their religion, their heritage, their existence. Children were killed simply because they were children, because they were Jewish children. Because in the ideology of those who ran these camps, they had no right to live. The child who wore these shoes was killed for being born. We will never know their name. We will never know what they looked like, what their voice sounded like, what dreams they had. We will never know if they were scared on that train, if they cried, if someone held them, if someone whispered that everything would be okay. We will never know if they understood what was happening when they were told to remove their shoes, if they asked why. If they believed the lies about showers, we will never know their last moments, their last thoughts, whether they felt pain or fear or if it was over before they could process it. We will never know, but we know this. Someone loved them. Someone tied their shoes that morning. Someone made sure they were ready for the day. Someone cared for them. And someone waited for them to come home. Maybe a grandparent, an aunt, a neighbor, someone who wasn't taken, someone who survived, someone who spent the rest of their life wondering what happened. Did the child suffer? Were they alone? Did they call out? Those questions have no answers, only silence. The shoes sit in the museum. Decades have passed. The survivors are dying, fewer each year. Soon there will be no one left who remembers, no one who was there, no one who can say, I saw this, I survived this. This is not a story. This is what happened. And then all we will have are objects, shoes, glasses, photographs, documents, evidence of something that seems impossible. How could this happen? How could people do this to other people? How could the world allow it? Those questions remain. The answers are insufficient. Human cruelty, ideology, indifference, fear. None of it explains how a child's shoes ended up in a pile of discarded belongings outside a gas chamber. None of it explains how anyone could look at a child and decide they deserved to die. The shoes are testimony. They say, this happened. This child existed. They wore these shoes. They walked in them, and then they died. And someone, decades later, decided these shoes must be kept, must be displayed, must be seen, because forgetting is easy. Numbers fade, History becomes distant, a lesson in a textbook, a date on a timeline, but shoes are real, tangible, human. They force you to imagine, to feel, to confront the individual life behind the statistic. One child among 1.5 million children murdered in the Holocaust. One pair of shoes among millions of shoes. But this pair, these shoes, they're here. You can see them. And for a moment, that child is not a number. They're real. There's a Jewish tradition. When someone dies, you place a stone on their grave. A small stone, a marker, a way of saying, I was here, I remembered you. But this child has no grave. Their body was burned, their ashes scattered. There's no headstone, no name carved in stone, no place to leave a stone, just these shoes. And the people who stop in front of the glass case, who stare, who read the placard, who try to comprehend. Some of them cry, some stand in silence, some reach out as if to touch the glass, as if contact might bridge the distance, as if their presence might somehow matter to a child who died 80 years ago. It can't, but they try anyway. The world has moved on. Life continues. New generations are born. They grow up in a world where Auschwitz is history, where the Holocaust is something that happened long ago, something terrible, yes, but over, finished, in the past. But these shoes are not in the past. They're here, now, still tied, still waiting. Waiting for what? For the child to come back? That will never happen. For justice? Too late. Most of those responsible are dead. For understanding, we will never fully understand. Perhaps they're just waiting to be seen, to be acknowledged, to stand as proof that this happened, that this child lived, however briefly, that their death mattered. If you visit Auschwitz, you will walk through rooms filled with evidence. You will see the shoes, the hair, the suitcases, the photos of faces that will never age. You will stand in the gas chambers. You will see the scratches on the walls. You will walk through the crematoria. You will see the ovens. And you will leave. You will walk out into daylight. You will breathe fresh air. You will go home. The child who wore these shoes never had that chance. There's no lesson here that makes it better. No wisdom that makes the shoes less tragic. No understanding that brings the child back. There's only this: it happened. It was real. These shoes prove it. A child existed. A child wore these shoes. A child was loved. A child was murdered. And the shoes remain behind glass, in a museum, in a place that was once hell on earth and is now a memorial. The laces are still tied. The leather still holds the shape of small feet. The soles still show the wear of steps taken in a world that no longer exists, and the shoes are still there. Waiting. For what? No one knows. Perhaps just waiting to be remembered. There are many objects like this. Silent witnesses, still waiting to be heard.